major new front is opening in Washington's expanding war on drug cartels as the United States launches joint military operations with Ecuador. In a dramatic announcement, U.S. Southern Command confirmed that American forces are now working alongside Ecuador's military to combat what officials call designated terrorist organizations operating inside the country. General Francis Donovan, the commander overseeing U.S. military operations in Central and South America, revealed that the joint mission began earlier this week. According to Donovan, Ecuadorian and U.S. military units launched coordinated operations on March 3rd, targeting what Washington describes as narco-terrorist networks. Video released alongside the announcement shows military helicopters lifting off into the sky and surveillance footage capturing personnel boarding aircraft. The message from Washington is clear. This is not simply a policing operation. It is part of a broader campaign against criminal networks that the Trump administration has increasingly framed as terrorist threats. Since returning to office for a second term, President Donald Trump has taken an aggressive approach to combating drug cartels across the Western Hemisphere. His administration has formally designated several major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, a label typically reserved for armed groups pursuing political violence. The designation dramatically expands the legal tools available to the United States military and intelligence agencies. And critics say it also risks transforming the long-running war on drugs into a military conflict stretching across multiple countries. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt praised the joint operation during a press briefing on Wednesday. She described the move as decisive action against groups responsible for spreading violence, corruption, and terror throughout the region. But the precise scope of the operation inside Ecuador remains unclear. Several U.S. media outlets report that American forces are currently providing logistical support and intelligence assistance rather than direct combat roles. Even so, the operation signals a dramatic escalation in Washington's regional strategy. Over the past year, the Trump administration has adopted increasingly militarized tactics to confront drug trafficking. That strategy has included aerial strikes against suspected smuggling vessels operating in the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific Ocean. At least 44 such strikes have reportedly been carried out so far. Those operations have resulted in around 150 deaths, though the identities of the victims remain unclear. And Ecuador now appears to be the latest front. The announcement came shortly after General Donovan traveled to Quito to meet Ecuador's president, Daniel Noboa, and senior defense officials. Meanwhile, the United States and Ecuador have announced the start of joint military operations targeting organized crime groups inside the Andean nation. The operation is part of a broader crackdown on drug trafficking networks that Washington increasingly describes as narco-terrorists. Ecuador has also declared Cuba's ambassador and his diplomatic staff persona non grata, ordering them to leave the country within 48 hours. Officials cited international diplomatic law, but gave no public explanation for the expulsion.
I am here to express my absolute solidarity with the Cuban people, and on behalf of the representatives of the people of Ecuador, in my capacity as an assembly member, I offer my apologies because this does not reflect the sentiment of the Ecuadorian people. It is truly the nonsense of a lackey of Donald Trump.
At this moment, I have heard, not with pleasure, but rather with great displeasure, the news that the credentials of the Cuban ambassador have been suspended. Under no far-right government has this situation ever occurred, and we are truly outraged because the people truly are brothers among all nations, and we stand in solidarity with each other. It is for this reason that we have come here, the representatives from various organizations, to support the Cuban government and its Cuban revolution.
Cuba's foreign minister suggested the timing was no coincidence, pointing to growing U.S. pressure on Havana and a regional summit of conservative leaders scheduled in Miami next week. Cuba's foreign minister, Bruno Rodriguez, also hit back hard, slamming U.S.-Israel attacks on the Islamic Republic of Iran in an earlier ex-post, declaring political assassinations and indiscriminate bombings against schools and hospitals, which violate international humanitarian law, must be brought to an end. Some analysts warn the Trump administration may be searching for opportunities to deploy American troops abroad under the banner of fighting narco-terrorism. Brian Finucane of the International Crisis Group questioned the lack of clarity surrounding Washington's exact role in Ecuador. He suggested some officials within the administration had long wanted to place U.S. boots on the ground somewhere in Latin America. According to Finucane, Ecuador may simply have been more willing than other countries to host such operations. As the joint mission begins, the stakes are high for both governments. Supporters say the crackdown could weaken powerful criminal networks, destabilizing the region. But critics warn it may deepen militarization, spark diplomatic tensions, and blur the line between policing and warfare.
News never stops. The world keeps turning, and every turn tells a story. Wars, elections, geopolitics, Davids versus Goliaths.
While everyone is celebrating the US-China trade thaw, Trump has been quietly doing something else across Asia.
These were once home to the ancient Silk Road connecting east and west.
But who's connecting the dots? Who's decoding the global storm? Welcome to Times of India videos.
You're watching a special edition of Global Pulse with me, Neha Khanna.
בהנחיה שלי ושל שר הביטחון ישראל כץ.
Durante este año,
We decode the shifting grains of geopolitics to you. From Washington to Wuhan.
Встановлені домовленості і сьогодні підписуються.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Just 2 years ago, Canada was one of the most popular countries for Indian students.
From Davos to Delhi, we track the decisions that move markets, shift policies, and shape the future. No jargon, no bias, just clear, credible, global journalism. Because understanding the world doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be smart. And that's what we do best. At Times of India videos, we don't just tell stories, we build perspective. We connect the dots between what's global and what's personal, what's happening out there, and what it means for you. It's fast. It's fearless. It's making sense of the changing world order. Times of India videos. Because your worldview is just a tap away.